first time I remember wanting to write, I was 15 and I was getting ready for the PSATs. It's the preliminary SATs, which I don't know if they have them anymore. But my mom sat me down and I remember her asking me, what do you want to do with your life? And I said, I want to be a writer or a philosopher. And she said, you will wash dishes for the rest of your life. So you will get a business degree. So I got a business degree. I ended up finding a master's degree in creative writing, which I tell people, you don't need a MFA in writing. You need to read a lot. You need to take some writing classes. You have to learn structural things like viewpoint. When I learned viewpoint and it clicked, that changed everything for me. When I finished, I'm like, I'm going to move to New York and work in the music industry while I write books, which I did. So I worked for an indie label. I mean, I did a lot of different stuff, but ended up in a corporate record company. And I realized that my dream was a nightmare. I'd always wanted to work in music. I thought it'd be so cool, be hanging out with the rock stars, partying all night. One day I screamed down the hall, we could be selling tampons and nobody would know the difference. And I was met with silence because it was true. So I ended up writing a book about my time in corporate music, which is that blue one, Rock Gods and Messy Monsters. When I finished, like most writers, I'm going to get a publishing deal. I'm going to make money and I'm going to, do what writers do, like rock stars do, whatever. So I started sending out the manuscript. I got so many rejections. One of them, and this is what tipped me over the edge, I got a form letter back and they ticked a box and it said, just give up writing. That hurt so deeply. So I just threw it away. So fast forward. So I finally decided, look, I am a writer. I wrote this book. Amazon had just started KDP. So I put the book up on Amazon in 2008. It was called Rock Gods of Oct back then. And fast forward to 2021, somebody who I temped with at the Rainbow Room in the 90s just emailed me out of the blue. Hadn't seen her since. And she said, oh my God, I found your book online. I just bought it, read it. I was so inspired that I quit as soon as I finished it. So that inspired me. I'm 59 at the time, getting ready to turn 60. And I just sat down, and when you get, this is very common for people when they get into their 50s and early, maybe even late 60s. At some point, when you get over 45, I'd say 50, there's a point and you just go, what am I going to do? I've always wanted to be a writer. I got sidetracked. I'm going to be 60. To me, it was now or never. I know some people wait there. I'm on Substack. There are people who are 70, 80, 90 putting their first book out, which is great. But for me, it's I decided, meditated a lot. I decided I would rather live in my car than to never have written. I would rather live in my car with my books and be a writer than never to have tried. I am not going to be on my deathbed wishing I had tried. So I re-edited and republished Rock Gods, put it out. I have to say I spent more than I looked at it as like a master's degree in book publishing and marketing, because there's no way to learn this stuff without doing it. But I got very little. I won awards, got acclaim, but not sales. So the next two books I did very, very little promotion. Fourth book just came out a couple of months ago. I'm just now almost 5 years into writing fiction full time, starting to promote the work. If someone wants to be a writer as a career, the reality is making money off just your books is difficult these days, especially with AI, but you can do it. But now it's 7 to 10 books out before the algorithms and you start to get noticed. So you've got to be committed. I've only got 4. And also it's, defining who your ideal reader is, how you want to get out through. My writing is, it's called genre bending now. So I don't have a specific genre. So finding my audience is just a little more challenging. And they're not people who shop on Amazon. And the way I know this is I actually sat down and thought through and did research and figured out who my ideal reader was. One person. Her name's Paula. So that person, it's a creative. They would live in a place like Santa Fe, etc. It's a certain personality type, because my book is alternative. I'm just now putting together promotion and marketing plans in order to start getting it out to people. I'm very excited. There's a little town here called Madrid. It's not Madrid, but it's Madrid, New Mexico. And it's a really funky artist town. And my hairstylist was like, oh my God, my friend Jennifer owns this oddities store. And I just went down and brought my books, and my books are like perfect for the store, and she's selling them. So like that's sort of what one has to do. If I wrote like a straight like romance or sci-fi, there are specific channels. It is a little easier to find readers. I'm blessed. I am blessed with tenacity. I think that perseverance and tenacity are two personality traits that can really help a person who's been knocked down. It took years for me to gather the strength to stand back up. And I remember commenting years ago that each time I got knocked down, it got a little harder to get back up. And this last one, it's probably been 10 years. It was a long time. I also had that perimenopause nightmare. But I really believe, and one thing that I want to do in this life is to help other people who don't quite have the courage to pursue their dream to just go all in and do it. I do believe that the universe will help us, that, I had saved money. I don't know why I thought I could buy a condo in New York City. The HOAs, the monthly HOA fees are more than the rent I paid there. But I came here and I had a chunk of money. And rather than invest it in stock market or whatever, I invested it in this, in me, my life, my dreams, my career. This is my real dream. The music industry, I think, was fear. It's my fear of being vulnerable and sharing my writing, because even though it's crazy and there's aliens and there's like dark forces, whatever, it's a lot of my soul is on the pages, is on the pages. I have one soul, maybe more. That's my target audience. That's who I'm reaching for. It's just, I'm still learning how I can find them, So for example, I really sat down. I lived in London for 3 years in the 80s, but British humor is a certain type of humor. And I'm like, I really think the British and the Germans have a wacky sense of humor. I think the British and Germans will get the books. So on my 23-page single space typed to-do list, I have to put a UK promotion and a German promotion plan together. And the plan is to first go to English. Well, British is English, but for Germany is to do English speaking German, not to get the book translated. If it does take off, then I'll pay to get a translation. But these are the things that a writer has to think about these days. It's not just, I'm going to put it up on Amazon and people will buy it. Even a traditional, like a romance or whatever, there are millions, literally millions of books go up every year. You have to promote in the ways appropriate to the genre you're writing in. I have also heard, I'm glad I write genre bending and I write from the soul, because I have read that with AI, the mainstream genres like romance, sci-fi, thriller, they're pretty formulaic, that AI is just going to take it over the genres. And it's going to be very hard as a writer if you're writing yourself. I do use AI, but I only use it for marketing. And then sometimes if I'm stuck on an editing thing, will never let AI write my books. But it is good. Like, I'm at an age where I'll put down a word like suspense when I really mean strategic. And sometimes I just have these brain farts, and I'll go into like sometimes word hippo. I don't think that's AI. Or I'll go into AI and I say, this is the sentence. I said suspense. That's not what I mean. And it'll give me a bunch of suggestions. And I don't always take them, but it helps spark. So I think there is positive to using it, just not writing a whole book and not plotting. No, what's the point of writing? In my opinion, what is the point of writing a book if you're having a robot do it for you?